signals. But what about those aha moments? When a solution to a problem just pops into your mind out of thin air.
Oh yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
Almost like a light bulb moment.
Exactly. And those are often classic examples of intuition at work. It's like our subconscious mind has been processing things in the background, and then suddenly the answer surfaces.
I've definitely experienced that, especially when I've been struggling with a decision. And then during a walk or even in the shower, the answer suddenly becomes clear.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like stepping away from the problem actually allows the solution to emerge.
So it's welcome in, everyone. Today we're diving into something I find really fascinating. Intuition. That inner voice we all have.
It's something a lot of people are curious about. It can feel mysterious even.
Right. And to help us explore it, we're turning to an article by holistic life coach Violet Spring. She offers some really practical steps to help us tap into our intuition. And maybe more importantly, learn to trust it.
Yeah, that trust part can be tricky.
Totally. So think of this deep dive as like a journey of discovery. We'll explore what intuition actually is, how to recognize when it's speaking to us.
Those whispers can be subtle.
For sure. And then the big question, how do we actually integrate intuition into our daily lives? So get ready, because we're about to unlock a powerful tool you already have within you.
I love that. A tool we already have.
Exactly. So to kick things off, how does Violet Spring define intuition? What is it really?
She actually describes it in a really interesting way. She sees it as this blend of our accumulated experience over time mixed with a deeper wisdom.
Almost like a super sophisticated internal processor.
Exactly, like an internal compass guiding us in ways logic alone might not be able to.
That's cool. I've always been fascinated by stories of people throughout history who made groundbreaking discoveries or life-altering choices. They just knew something was right even if logic didn't support it.
Right, it's like they were following that inner compass. Recognizing those intuitive whispers is so key.
So how do we do that? How do we actually start to hear those whispers? Because it's not always a booming voice, right?
No, it's definitely not. Violet Spring points out that intuition can be really subtle, even sneaky. Sometimes it might show up as a physical sensation.
Like chills or butterflies in your stomach.
Exactly, or it could be an emotional signal. A sudden wave of calm or excitement, or even a clear, insightful thought that just pops into your head seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah, those aha moments.
Exactly. It's important to remember, though, that everyone's experience with intuition is unique. Those signals and how they manifest can be really personal.
So paying attention to your own personal cues is crucial. It's like learning your intuition's unique language.
That's a great way to put it. And there's one really important distinction to make here. Violet Spring emphasizes that true intuition feels calm and certain.
Even if the decision itself is a tough one.
Right. It's not that anxious, panicky feeling we sometimes associate with making difficult choices.
So it's more like a deep inner knowing, a sense of peace amidst the uncertainty.
Exactly. But the thing is, in today's world with constant information overload and distractions, it can be tough to create space to even hear that inner voice.
It's like we're bombarded with noise all the time. So how do we even begin to quiet the external noise so we can tune into those quieter frequencies?
That's where Violet Spring's advice on creating space for intuition becomes really important. Practices like meditation, mindful breathing, spending time in nature.
I've been experimenting with taking a digital detox lately, even just for a few hours. Yeah. And it's remarkable how much it enhances my ability to connect with myself.
I love that. Even just a few hours can make a difference.
Absolutely. And speaking of creating space, Violet Spring outlines a simple yet powerful morning ritual. Before you even start your day, just take 5 minutes for yourself. Settle into stillness and ask, what does my inner wisdom want me to know today?
Such a powerful question.
It is. I've also found it really helpful to journal those insights afterward.
Yeah, not just to remember them, but to see if you notice any recurring patterns.
Right. Because sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees when you're just in the thick of things. But when you look back, you might start to notice some trends.
Exactly. It's about building that feedback loop and strengthening the trust in your intuition. Now, another fascinating aspect Violet Spring highlights is the connection between our physical state and our intuitive abilities.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
She talks about practices like yoga, tai chi, or even mindful walking. They can help us increase body awareness, which in turn makes us more attuned to those subtle intuitive signals.
Wow, so it's like everything is interconnected. Our physical sensations, our emotions, our intuition, they're all working together.
They really are. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you get a tightness in your chest when something feels off? Or a sense of lightness when you're making the right choice? That might just be your body trying to communicate with you.
It's amazing how much wisdom our bodies hold.
It really is. And this actually ties into another important point that Violet Spring emphasizes, which is the importance of emotional intelligence.
Oh, so.
She explains that understanding our own emotional patterns is crucial for being able to differentiate between fear-based reactions and genuine intuitive guidance.
That makes sense. So we need to be able to recognize when we're reacting out of fear versus when we're truly hearing that calm, certain voice of intuition.
Exactly. And a simple practice that can help with this is taking regular emotional temperature checks throughout the day.
Like pausing to notice how you're feeling and what might be influencing your decisions at that moment.
Exactly. And if you want to take it a step further, keeping a feelings journal can be really powerful.
So you can start to track your emotional responses, identify patterns, and maybe even pinpoint potential triggers.
That's the idea. And as we become more aware of our emotional landscape, we naturally strengthen our intuitive discernment as well.
This is all so fascinating, but I imagine some listeners might be thinking, yeah, this is great in theory, but building trust in my intuition sounds like a tall order. How do I even begin to do that?
That's a great question. And like any skill building trust in our intuition takes practice, Violet Spring suggests starting small.
So looking for low-stakes situations where we can test our intuition and observe the outcome.
Exactly. It could be something as simple as choosing which route to take to work or deciding what to eat for lunch.
It's like we're flexing that intuitive muscle in a safe space.
Precisely. And as we make these small choices and observe the results, we start to build that trust. And, she also recommends keeping an intuition journal.
So we can actually document our insights, our predictions, and then see how things actually unfolded.
Exactly. It's amazing to look back and see how often our intuition was spot on.
Even when things don't go as expected, it can still be valuable information.
Absolutely, because it helps us refine our understanding of how our intuition speaks to us. It's all part of the learning process.
So it's not about being right or wrong, but about deepening that connection with our own inner guidance system.
Exactly. And speaking of deepening that connection, Violet Spring actually outlines a 3-step process that can really help strengthen this connection.
I'm all ears. Tell me more about this 3-step process.
Okay, so the first step is to simply write down your initial intuitive impression about a situation, just that first gut feeling that comes up.
Okay, got it. What's next?
Then you take a moment to note any logical thoughts or external information that either supports or contradicts that initial feeling.
So you're bringing in that logical mind as well, but not letting it completely take over.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance. And then the final step is to record the actual outcome of the situation and reflect on what you've learned from the whole experience.
I love that. It's like we're turning every experience into an opportunity to refine our intuitive language and become more attuned to those subtle nuances.
It really is. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to clarify something really important. Utilizing intuition isn't about abandoning logic altogether or making reckless decisions.
Right. It's not about throwing caution to the wind.
It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance between logic and intuition.
So we're not ignoring our rational minds. We're just adding another layer of wisdom to our decision-making process.
Exactly. And, one way to start integrating this in a practical way is to simply incorporate intuitive check-ins into your daily life. Before you jump into a new project, make a significant purchase, or even choose what to have for dinner.
Just take a moment to pause and tune into that inner voice.
Exactly. It can be that simple.
Man.
And as we practice this, we might be surprised at how much richer and more aligned our experiences become.
It's like we're uncovering a hidden superpower that's been with us all along.
I love that analogy. And the best part is it's a superpower we can all tap into. Welcome back to our exploration of intuition. We've been uncovering so much from holistic life coach Violet Spring. And now I'm curious to shift our focus to how intuition might show up in ways we might not expect.
Okay, like what do you mean?
Well, earlier we talked about physical sensations and emotions as potential signals. But what about those aha moments? When a solution to a problem just pops into your mind out of thin air.
Oh yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
Almost like a light bulb moment.
Exactly. And those are often classic examples of intuition at work. It's like our subconscious mind has been processing things in the background and then suddenly the answer surfaces.
I've definitely experienced that. Especially when I've been struggling with a decision. And then during a walk or even in the shower, the answer suddenly becomes clear.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like stepping away from the problem actually allows the solution to emerge.
So it's not always about actively searching for the answer. Sometimes it's about creating space for it to reveal itself.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting is that intuition isn't just about those big life decisions. It can guide us in smaller everyday choices, too.
Oh, so it's not just about career changes or relationship dilemmas.
Nope, not at all. Violet Spring actually encourages us to practice listening to our inner voice, even in those seemingly mundane moments.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Choosing what to wear, what to eat, even which route to take to work. These can all be opportunities to strengthen our intuitive muscle.
I like that. So it's about developing that habit of checking in with our intuition throughout the day, no matter how small the decision might seem.
Exactly. It's like anything else. The more we practice, the more natural and effortless it becomes.
I imagine some listeners might be wondering, though, how do I know if it's really my intuition speaking or just my imagination running wild?
That's a great question, and it's where discernment becomes crucial.
So how do we tell the difference? How do we know if it's genuine intuition or just wishful thinking?
Well, Violet Spring offers some really helpful insights here. She suggests paying close attention to the feeling associated with the insight.
Okay, so what does that actually feel like?
True intuition often carries a sense of calm and certainty, even if the message itself is unexpected or challenging.
So it's different from that anxious, second-guessing feeling that can sometimes creep in.
Right, it's more like a quiet confidence, a knowing.
A deep inner knowing.
Exactly. And another thing to consider is the source of the information.
The source? What do you mean?
Ask yourself, is this insight coming from a place of love, compassion, higher wisdom? Or is it rooted in fear, scarcity, or maybe even ego-driven desires?
So check in the essence of the message, making sure it aligns with our values and intentions.
Exactly. And finally, Violet Spring encourages us to test our intuition in real-life situations.
Oh, that's interesting. How would we go about doing that?
If an insight feels aligned and true, take a small step in that direction and see what happens. It's like gathering evidence to either support or challenge that intuitive nudge.
So it's all about experimenting and observing the results.
Exactly. And as we practice this process of discernment and validation, we naturally become more confident in our ability to distinguish between true intuition and those other internal voices.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious to hear about some practical applications of intuition. Okay, so we're recognizing these intuitive nudges, but how can we actually utilize them in our daily lives?
Well, the great thing is intuition can be applied to all aspects of our life, from relationships and careers to health and creativity.
Oh, wow. Give me some examples.
For instance, in relationships, intuition can help us understand other people's intentions better, navigate conflicts more effectively, and ultimately build deeper, more authentic connections.
So it's not just about those big make-or-break relationship decisions.
No, it can guide us through those smaller interpersonal moments as well, those subtle cues that can make all the difference.
Okay, what about careers?
Well, in our careers, intuition can guide us toward work that truly aligns with our passions and purpose. It can support us in making those tough strategic decisions. And it can even spark those innovative ideas that lead to breakthroughs.
So it's like having an internal compass pointing us toward greater fulfillment and success.
Exactly. Now, let's not forget about health.
What role does intuition play in our health?
Well, for one, it can guide us towards lifestyle choices that truly support our well-being. It can alert us to potential imbalances before they become major problems. And it can even help us connect with the right healthcare practitioners.
That's powerful. It's like our bodies have this innate wisdom, and our intuition helps us tap into it.
Exactly. And finally, let's talk about creativity.
I love that, because I think a lot of people struggle with feeling stuck creatively.
Well, intuition can be a powerful source of inspiration. It can lead to breakthroughs in art, music, writing, any creative endeavor you can think of.
It's like tapping into that wellspring of ideas and allowing them to flow through us.
Exactly. As you can see, intuition has the potential to enrich and enhance every area of our lives. It's not some mystical concept reserved for a select few.
It's a practical tool we can all learn to harness.
Precisely. And the more we do, the more clarity, purpose, and joy we can experience.
This has been so insightful. I love how Violet Spring's approach really demystifies intuition and makes it feel accessible to everyone.
It's not about possessing a special gift or psychic ability. It's about cultivating a deeper connection with ourselves and learning to trust that wisdom within.
So for our listeners who are just beginning to explore their own intuitive abilities, what are some key takeaways they can carry with them?
Well, first and foremost, remember that intuition is always available to you. It's just waiting for your attention and trust.
Like a muscle that gets stronger with use.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to start strengthening that muscle is to create space for stillness and quiet reflection in your daily life.
So things like meditation, mindful breathing, spending time in nature.
Exactly. It's about quieting that external noise so you can tune into your inner voice.
Yeah.
And pay close attention to those subtle signals your body and emotions are sending you.
Those gut feelings, physical sensations, emotional nudges, they're all forms of intuitive communication.
It's like learning a new language, the language of your intuition.
I love that analogy. So we're all intuitive linguists in training.
Exactly. And another helpful practice is to keep an intuition journal. Track your insights, your predictions, and then see how things unfold in reality.
It's about creating a roadmap of your own unique intuitive landscape.
That's a great way to put it. And finally, remember that developing intuition is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, and learn from your experiences.
So we're not aiming for perfection, we're embracing the process.
Exactly. The more you practice, the more confident and intuitive you will become. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Right, there's a whole community of people out there exploring this too.
Exactly. And there are countless resources, teachers, and mentors available to support you in awakening your full intuitive potential.
That's such a wonderful reminder. Thank you for sharing all of this wisdom with us.
It's been my pleasure. Now let's shift gears a bit and explore some practical techniques for strengthening that intuitive muscle. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into how to live a more aligned, intuitive life.
Welcome back to our deep dive into intuition. We've been on quite a journey exploring this fascinating topic with the help of holistic life coach Violet Spring.
We've learned so much about what intuition is, how to recognize its whispers, and even how to build trust in its guidance.
Exactly. Now, I'm really excited to shift our focus to some practical techniques that can help us actually amplify our intuitive abilities, like take it to the next level.
That's a great way to put it. And one technique Violet Spring recommends that I find really powerful is visualization.
Visualization. Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, it involves creating vivid mental images in your mind's eye that align with the desired outcome or the intuitive guidance you've received.
So if I have a gut feeling about a particular decision, I can actually visualize myself successfully navigating that situation.
Exactly. You're painting a picture in your mind of what success looks like and how you feel in that moment.
And by doing that, we're sending a powerful message to our subconscious minds, right?
Precisely. You're aligning your energy with what you want to manifest. And what's interesting? Our subconscious minds are incredibly powerful.
It's like we're planting those seeds of intention and allowing our intuition to guide us towards the outcome.
That's a great way to think about it. It's like creating a mental blueprint for success. Now, another technique that can be really helpful is working with affirmations.
Affirmations.
Okay.
Okay, I've heard of those, but remind me how those work.
Well, affirmations are basically positive statements that we repeat to ourselves to reinforce a belief or a desired outcome.
So instead of saying, I don't trust my intuition, I might say something like, I am deeply connected to my inner wisdom, and I trust its guidance.
Exactly. You're shifting the narrative from doubt to confidence.
And by repeating those affirmations regularly, we're essentially reprogramming our subconscious minds, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
You're creating new neural pathways that align with a more empowered belief system.
It's like planting seeds of intuitive confidence that can blossom and grow over time.
I love that analogy. Now, let's not forget about the power of connecting with like-minded individuals.
Oh yeah, community can be so important, especially when you're exploring something new.
Absolutely. Joining an intuition development group or finding a mentor who can guide you on this journey can provide invaluable support.
It's like having a safe space to share experiences, ask questions, and learn from others who are on a similar path.
Exactly. And, sometimes just hearing someone else's story or perspective can spark a breakthrough in our own understanding.
It's amazing how much we can learn from each other. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to remember that developing intuition is a journey, not a destination.
Oh, that's such an important reminder. We're not striving for perfection here. We're embracing the process.
Exactly. There will be times when we might misinterpret a signal or make a choice that doesn't quite lead to the outcome we expected.
That's totally normal. It's all part of the learning process.
It's like any skill. The more we practice, the more we refine our abilities.
Right. Those experiences, even the ones we might initially perceive as mistakes, can actually provide valuable lessons that help us fine-tune our intuitive discernment.
It's like those twists and turns on a road trip. They might not be part of the original plan, but they often lead to unexpected adventures and beautiful discoveries.
Exactly. And, as we come to the end of our exploration of intuition, I want to leave you with one final thought from Violet Spring.
Okay, I'm all ears.
She reminds us that intuition isn't this separate faculty or a special gift reserved for a select few.
Right, it's not like some magical power that only certain people possess.
It's an innate human capacity that we all have within us.
It's like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered and nurtured.
And by cultivating a deeper connection with ourselves, quieting the noise of the external world, and practicing the techniques we've explored, we can awaken our intuitive potential and live more aligned, fulfilling lives.
This has been such an inspiring and empowering conversation. Thank you so much for guiding us through this fascinating world of intuition.
It's been my pleasure, and remember, your intuition is your guide, your compass, your greatest ally. Trust its whispers, follow its nudges, and allow it to lead you to a life that is authentically yours.
Beautifully said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into intuition. We hope you've gained valuable insights and practical tools to awaken your own inner wisdom. Until next time, keep exploring, keep listening, and keep trusting your intuition.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, leave a comment below, and be sure to subscribe and help us build this awesome holistic heroes tribe. And while you're waiting for new episodes, check out my other videos from these playlists.